Today we're going to talk about turbos and turbine housings and some of the differences. So what we have here is a standard T3 63 AR housing with a T3 inlet and a V-band outlet. So this has pretty much been the norm for years and years and years. You get this in a T4 flange and T3 flange. That was really all you had. And it wasn't until recently that people started offering them V-bands, and those are usually in a ball bearing cartridge. You get a tile V-band stainless investment cast housing for those, and they're really cool. They simplify your header. It's a V-band that holds it on. There's no bolts to come loose. Your gasket isn't going to leak. There's just so many more advantages, and it was just out of the price range of people for a while. So now more manufacturers are offering a V-band option with their housings. So these turbos happen to be from AGP, a company in Arizona, and this housing is an available option for no additional charge. So this has a V-band inlet and a V-band outlet, and it's an 82 AR housing. So some of the advantages of these is, like I said, no bolts. Basically, here's a piece that goes to your header. Really cool. Index is in. Boom, done. Header comes in, exhaust right into there. Clamp goes on. Pretty easy. So this turbo has a really good price point. It does use a proprietary flange on here. And of course you have your V-band exhaust, which is pretty cool too. This one doesn't have a locator on it, which is okay because it doesn't necessarily need to be centered, seeing as we have so much space. One of the things that I don't like about these is there's a little lip right there. So I think that could be cleaned up and help stuff out. They use a standard T3 oil return. So these bolt to the bottom. They come with gaskets. Go right to the bottom. These have a feed, and that's the top. That's the feed. So that's an NPT 8th. So you can screw your fitting right into here, or you can use one of the adapters. And then our outlet right there. So these are 5257 turbos. Very cost effective. Plenty of power for what we're doing. These are going to be run as twins. So we have enough compressor to actually break the engine that's in the truck right now. So we're okay there. And we size the exhaust side to bypass enough energy. It has a loose converter, so it's going to be at 3,500 as soon as you hit the gas anyway. The motor already makes a pretty good amount of power off boost and has been on the dyno. So with a converter, loose converter, we're going to go right through the converter, hit the turbo. Turbo's going to spool up, and we're using these for top-end power. We're not trying to build a ton of torque in this application. We're trying to add a little top-end power. So with these two on the truck, we should probably see a 200 to 300 horsepower increase at the tire, low boost without getting too greedy, and that's really what we're going for. Another cool thing is our wastegates are also V-band inlet and V-band outlet. So these are a 38 millimeter gate. A seat goes there, in and out. So this whole turbo kit will be V-bands when we're done, which is really cool. So 2 wrenches, take the whole thing apart. No big deal. Should have low back pressure. So our pressure ratio of our intake to our exhaust should be really good. We should see huge numbers without getting anything crazy with the cam, a high amount of octane. It should just all work together as a really good package. So that's kind of the lowdown on these. If you guys want some of these, you guys can either contact AGP. I'm a dealer for them, so I can get these for you too. This is what it takes to put this stuff together. 2 wastegate, 2 turbos, and you're off to the races. I will actually look up these compressor maps, and I'll give you a little bit better idea of what they flow, but this is a pretty standard. It's a 52. That was a decent sized turbo back in the day. Not so much anymore. For another project that we're working on, we're going to be running 62 62s and 62 68. So that'd be a 62 millimeter compressor, inducer, and a 62 or a 68 millimeter turbine wheel. So it really depends on the exhaust flow that we're looking for on those and spool up time. We like to size the turbos properly so they don't spool up too quick. We want to limit our torque. One good thing about aftermarket ECUs and doing stuff a certain way is we can actually limit our boost and our duty cycle going to the wastegate dependent on throttle position and or RPM. So that's really cool. We want to keep the torque down in some of these applications. We don't want it through the roof, so you want to control it with your foot. And you guys, I'm sure that have driven turbo cars know the turbo's a little small, a little bit more gas equals full boost, and we don't want that anymore. So we can get rid of that through technology and just make it all work the way it's supposed to. So if you guys have any questions, comment, however you guys can get a hold of me. I have no problem answering those. So that's it. All right. Later.